Welcome to the All Need Music Podcast. I'm Matt,
And I'm Jesse.
And I'm Jake
and
Slay.
today, we're here with special guest Jake Slay, here to talk
In the
about
house.
some music and fill you guys in on what's going on with his career and directions that it's going, and hopefully you guys enjoy what you hear. So we're gonna start off throwing a couple questions at you. And just kind of go from there like we normally do, and we'll
Just to let all the listeners know, right now we're recording from Michigan right now, and Jake's down in Nashville, Tennessee. So that's where we're recording from right now. So Matt just came from Nashville, and
yep
Jake's going to be coming to Michigan here soon. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah so I had a chance to talk with you while I was in Nashville, and you're talking about your schedule, and we were trying to figure this out, and you were talking about working 60 hours a week, and doing music, and you got a kid on the way. I think first and foremost, how the hell do you do it?
right, absolutely.
Oh man, honestly, just lack of sleep, a lot of coffee, and just some good rock and roll tunes on the way to work to keep me awake.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of lack of sleep, but I've been told I better get used to it because once the kids here, they ain't no more sleep for a couple of years. So
There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
if it makes
I
you feel
watched
any
your,
better, I've got 6 kids. So it's crazy, but it's worth it. Mine are mostly out of the house at this point. We got one still in school, but the rest are off doing their own thing. So now we're slowing down considerably.
Oh man,
yeah, he's a little bit of an overachiever when it comes to that, I guess.
yeah, you have a little too much fun, Matt.
Yeah, took me a while to figure out what caused it.
Yeah, I hear you. Man, 6 kids. Yeah, that's a lot. My wife and I, we discussed, this first one, she's had a really blessed pregnancy, no issues whatsoever.
Nice.
But I feel like the second one's just all hell is going to break loose. So I'm nervous about that, but we're 2 and done. We're not going to 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I would say the best advice I could give you kid wise is don't do odd numbers. Someone's always left out, and it creates nothing but fighting and drama and chaos.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm a middle child myself, and we got 3, so that's the odd number right there. So
that explains a lot.
That explains a lot. I saw your YouTube video, Jake, with the reveal. That was pretty cool. So you got a little boy on the way.
Yeah, we're super stoked. Don't get me wrong, I wanted a girl, but I feel like every guy just wants a boy first, just to raise a little man.
I was gonna say, in that video, you were pretty pumped up when it was the boy. I saw that when the blue popped out of there. You were,
Oh yeah, yeah. That's my wife's screensaver on her phone, is me doing one of those. So
nice.
Yeah,
love it. So with the music career kind of just starting out, you've only been doing this a little over a year, which is similar for us in podcasting. I know for us, we're still at a point where it's costing more than what we're making with it. Hopefully that's not the same for you.
Music is a tricky business. I'll say that. You really don't make money off of music unless you're selling merch and doing shows. But to be honest with you, I'm in debt quite a bit from putting music out. It's not cheap, and
right.
I'm a Gibson guy, so I spend a lot of money on guitars that I shouldn't. But you got to spend money to make money, and looking cool is part of it. So buy the good guitars, put the good music out, because if you put crappy music out, people won't come back. So hire the good producers, get the good mics, get the good equipment, and just send it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we learned that the hard way when we first started podcasting. Our first 4 episodes of our other podcast were horrible audio quality. And we had to spring for better mics than what we initially got getting into this. So
for sure,
it's definitely a real thing.
Podcasting on a budget, not recommended.
Yeah, right. Man, mics make all the difference. Really. I mean, I could record a song on this right here, and I could do "Whiskey Helps," one of my main song that's out. It would sound nowhere near the same. And you get on a nice condenser mic, it does magic. You know what I'm saying? So you really get your money's worth on microphones.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
So
yeah, I saw one of your YouTube shorts that you had with the whole. I'm a musician, of course. You know, I roll my window down and yell at the guy.
Yeah,
but I saw your guitar room, and I was like, "That's a pretty badass guitar room you got there." So
yeah, dude, this is my little home studio. It's where we cut all the demos for tracks that we're trying to pitch, and
yeah,
this is where the magic happens most of the time. You know, TikTok
heck yeah.
lives, filming stuff, just doing stupid stuff and making a fool of ourselves. We do it right here.
nice.
I like your Cole Wetzel poster on the background there,
dude. Yeah, that's I'm his biggest fan, no doubt. I got 3 posters on the wall. I got all of his records, dude.
Nice.
Cole Wetzel, man, he's the dude.
Our one of our girls is Ella Langley, and I just voted for the 4th time today for them for Duo of the Year for the CMA Awards on Sunday. So
that's why we fight, man. That's a great song.
Yeah, heck yeah. So yeah, he's definitely talented. So yeah, I saw that in the video. I was like, hell yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. That song's fire. I hope Ella and Co get together and do some more, because man, that's a power couple right there.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah, she's great.
Nice. Yeah, have y'all talked with her?
Not
we
on
haven't
the podcast,
talked with her.
You know, last year, just prior to CMA Fest, you know, we went down for, I think it was close to 10 days or something. We went before CMA Fest, and she was doing a writer's round with Rob Hatch and Jamie Johnson. And
wow.
Jamie Johnson's my dude, like all-time favorite.
Oh, for sure.
And so we went there and you know, got to see them perform, and it was just an amazing night. The 3 of them killed it.
Yeah. Yep. And she sounds great live, man. She's like one of those artists that sounds even better live, you know. Not many people can do that, me included. Y'all find out April 12th.
Yeah, she would.
Right.
April
yeah, well,
12th, there you go.
We'll definitely be there. We got a busy week that week. We're doing I'm doing 3 shows. Doing one down in Traverse City, Drew Hale, who won that Tractor Supply Emerging Artist competition last year, and has been on the podcast. And Laney's his mentor. He's playing in Traverse City. We're going to go see him on Thursday, see you on Friday, and then Cody Jinks on Saturday. So
awesome, man.
Busy couple of days.
Busy week. Yep.
Yeah, man, you guys are rolling up there. Jeez. I was told Michigan likes country music.
Oh, we love it.
Sure do.
Yeah.
We love it. Yeah, absolutely. That's Matt and I actually met at a country music festival 3 years ago, 4 years ago now.
July will be 3 years.
July will be 3 years. We met Faster Horses is what it is. It's biggest party of the summer, they call it, for Michigan. Huge country music festival at the racetrack down at MIS in Brooklyn, Michigan. And that's where we met. And so that's kind of how we kind of grew this, you know, bond and everything of our love for country music. And yeah, Michigan definitely loves their country music. That's for sure.
Awesome, man. It's crazy how music just travels all over the country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I grew up listening to the country in California. I lived on the beach, in the mountains, and in the desert, and the same spot. You know? Everyone just loved country music over there. And I'll talk about that later, but yeah.
Absolutely. So kind of talking about that, was it the country music scene that influenced the move to Tennessee, or was it something else? And then being in Tennessee influenced I'm going to, you know, give this music career a shot.
Yeah, my story's really not that cool, but I'll get into that. My wife and I, girlfriend at the time, just got out of high school. We moved to Arizona, and it just wasn't working out over there. So came back home, and my mom was like, "Hey, my job wants to relocate to Nashville." And I was like, and I was all about horses. And I was like, man, like Tennessee's got to be super country. It just has to be. So without any research, I'm like, all right, let's go. So we moved downtown Nashville area, just outside of it. And I'm like, what in the world? There's no trees, you know, it's street and concrete and all this stuff. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I had an eye opener real quick that there is actually civilization outside of California. Cause I thought when you went the further east you go, no one lived there. I didn't even know people lived in Michigan until a couple months ago, honestly. But we were out here, and I love music. I've always been a music lover, but I never even thought about doing music. I just sang in the shower and just annoyed the wife, you know. And February of last year, roughly, I I just was singing around some buddies. They're like, hey man, you could sing halfway decent. You should give it a shot. Cause I kind of wrote songs just as jokes and stuff, like parody stuff. And they're like, give it a shot. And I'm like, sure, we'll do it. And I posted a video on TikTok. It went somewhat viral. And I was like, all right, cool. And a lot of my friends and family listened to it, and they're like, hey man, this is cool. Like, pursue it. All right. So I kind of just dipped my toes in it and just kind of messed around. And then I was like, you know what, man, I went through some stuff and I was like, I need something to do that is going to soak up more time and just have fun and find a purpose in life again, outside of just working all the time. And reached out to a producer, wrote some music and got some stuff out, and started with a couple acoustic versions, and one on YouTube went viral-ish. And I was like, man, I got to get some stuff out and just give this a shot. And I'm telling you guys, it's crazy, but I've worked my butt off for everything in my life that I've done so far. Music has been the only thing for me in my life that like I haven't had to work as hard at to get where I'm at. Like the things just move. So I felt like God kind of was calling me to be an artist, and because I'm not that smart. I didn't graduate high school. School wasn't for me. I'm really ADHD, which is why I can't stop moving. And like, I'm just not good at sitting down and doing office work. So I'm in construction, but I don't want to be, 50, 60 years old with a broken back. So I'm like, I need something to do. And this artist thing just kept coming back and resurfacing. So I gave it a go. And man, it's crazy. I mean, it's not paying my bills yet, but we're right there. 2025 is going to be a huge year. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that Jesse and I, both love about country music. Obviously we love, plenty of big name artists, but we love finding, those diamonds in the rough, the up and comers, whatever it may be.
People are out there just grinding,
that other people haven't heard about yet, and being able to introduce people to someone new. And like, I know probably for me, one of the earliest ones, Dylan Carmichael, like I was following that guy before he had 1,000 followers, I was under that 1,000 mark, and he's, turned a big corner, in the industry himself, and really starting to do big things. And it's like, not that I'm like really a part of that, but I'm like, and I've been there since like the ground floor. It feels good to know that like, I knew that he was going to be good when I heard him. And we just love chasing that, up and coming artists, and like, let's see where they go.
Right, absolutely. Right. And I'm an artist myself, and there's artists I found on social media that I follow too. And I'm just like, I'm glad I met you when I did. Cause when you take off, I want to open for you, kind of thing.
So there you go.
Right. Yeah, man, there's so many good artists out there, and don't get me wrong, social media is great. I hate it at the same time, but man, it just makes it so easy these days for guys to get their names out there. I just haven't had anything click on social media yet. Like nothing's really took off for me, but we just keep trying. But I got some buddies that just take off on TikTok, Instagram, all this stuff, and I'm just like, how you doing it? Well, come to find out, they pay a little money for the promotion stuff, and I'm not there yet. I want to grow an authentic community.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, and just to pause real quick, you said that it wasn't that cool of a story, but that was actually a pretty cool story of how you came to Nashville and how you sang on the job site, and people were, because your voice, you got a very authentic voice, you got a very original sound to you.
I appreciate that.
So I can definitely tell, I do construction myself, and if someone like you was, just bebopping around singing some songs, I definitely would be a supporter like that. So, I mean, definitely kind of a cool thing. And like you said, you've busted your ass your entire life, and music just kind of clicks. So like you were saying, that's your place and everything. So don't think that it's not a cool story of how you came to Nashville and how you got into music, because that's actually a pretty authentic and a cool way. Most people move to Nashville to chase the dream and everything like that.
Yeah.
And you didn't move there. It just kind of, came to you and everything like that. So super cool.
Yeah. And on that too, that's why I say I'm blessed in a sense, because, a lot of people risk it all to come here and chase their dreams, and then they get let down. I got nothing to lose. I'm here. I got a career, I got a beautiful family, and we're living our lives, and I'm in the music city, and I'm able to just pursue it. And I got nothing to lose. Yeah. If a year from now, nothing takes off and I just say to hell with it all, I'm done, I just go right back to work and just continue my life. But I give credit to the people that come out here for sure and risk it all, because Nashville's crazy and it's a cutthroat place to live, and you got to know people,
I
and
was going to
it's
ask you
tough.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough. And being an artist that's got nothing to bring to the table. I don't have billions of streams, and I don't have hundreds and thousands of followers and all this stuff yet. So like people don't want to play ball with a young, a small artist. So you really got to get in people's faces and show them what you're worth, show them what you got, and improve yourself. And then the word starts going around and stuff starts taking off. And we're kind of in that stage right now where we're just like, my name's getting around. I got a team now that I'm working with, and some big stuff is coming next year for sure. And like, so hopefully I'm that guy that can help these younger artists kind of get to where I'm headed and help bring people up, because it's all a community thing, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I've always said that, and Jesse and I, have had these conversations a million times where I want literally everybody around me to be successful, friends, family, strangers, it doesn't matter. I want everyone to be as successful as they want to be, right? And maybe that's financially, maybe that's, having more time to go do the stuff you want to do. Like whatever success looks like to you, I want you to have it. And so I'm a big supporter of being able to help push people along, in what they want to do. And the fact that you're over here, like, I want to bring other guys with me, that speaks to me, in my soul. Like, that's the kind of stuff I love.
Dude, my DMs on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, man, all of them are, hey man, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I'm an open book. I'm like, hey, here's my number. Don't be a creepy person, but call me and I'll walk you through it. My producer I got hooked up with when I first started, he helped me out. I didn't know how to put music out. I didn't know any of this stuff. And he's like, here, I'm going to show you the ropes. And I've pushed 15 artists roughly to him to get stuff put out. Nice. And, they're starting their careers too. And it's just, I feel like if you lift people up, your time's coming. And if you're putting people down, man, I don't associate with those people. And I like to be someone that I'd want to hang out with. So I try to just be a solid dude all the way around.
Right.
That's awesome. Jake, you're somebody that we want to hang out with, because like Matt was saying, that's kind of how we are, like to help lift people up. And for someone like yourself, who's just getting started in the industry, to already, you're not striving. I mean, I'm sure you are striving to, be big and everything like that, but you're already thinking about the people that are just starting out. Like, super cool, super humbling to, hear someone like that, or like yourself, say something like that. So
yeah, absolutely. And like the team I got hooked up with, I'm not going to disclose any names or labels or anything like that, just because we're still in the process of things. But, they're really adamant about not giving me too much to where I kind of stress out. So they're really helping me. They're getting me with some really good songwriters. We're getting I'm telling you, this music that's fixing to come out and that we're writing right now is next level. So they're really helping me with the baby steps just to prepare me for the 2025 festival season. Hint, hint. Like just a lot of cool stuff coming up. And I think surround yourself with good people is the most important thing, and having a good team of people that support you for what you do. And even when you fail and you mess up, they're right there to pick you up and say, hey, because I'm not gonna lie, I've sent a couple bad demos where I'm like, oh, I'm probably not going to get a call back after this one. It's
right.
Sometimes you write a hit song. Sometimes, I've wrote 50, 60 songs over this last year, and I'd say probably 10 of them I'd put on an album. The other ones just they're for the birds, man.
Well, it's funny how things go. We've got artists that we like, and there's one recently, and we had talked about having her on, like we wanted to ask her, but we were kind of like, no, we're not quite to that level yet where she's going to say yes, and so we didn't want to deal with getting shot down. And while I was in Nashville, I got to run into her and have a conversation, and she asked me, so like, when are you guys going to have me on the podcast? And it was like, whenever you want,
absolutely.
Because it's tough when you maybe don't like have full confidence in like somebody being, a step or two or three above you, on kind of that order of where they're at in their career, and thinking like, well, maybe not quite worthy yet and need to get bigger ourselves. But there's a lot of good people out there that want to do good things, want to work with good people. And it makes my heart happy that it's not just people stepping on each other to try and get like to the top, like there's some race, you know.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. I always talk about this with my wife when we're just kind of chatting at night. It's like, if artists like Morgan Wallen and Bailey Zimmerman, like a lot of these top dogs right now, were to just take one artist a week and just do a shout out for them on Instagram, I mean, it would help so many people out. Like one thing, if I ever take off, and it will, it's just going to take some time, but my goal is to just help all these other guys. If I like their stuff and I mess with it, I got no pride. I'm gonna bring them up with me, or at least help them out, or bring them up on stage to do a song, something like that. Just help them out and get there. Cause dude, it's so tough. Like being a new artist, is like getting out there is the hardest thing to do. I've busted my balls to get out there as much as I did,
Yeah.
Right. So
awesome.
Show wise, I know when we talked, you're doing, some rider rounds in the Nashville area, Franklin and whatnot. Is there any other locations? Obviously, I know you're coming to Michigan. Anything else in the works for you, this year? I know you got a big 2025 plan, but as this year continues on, what's that look like for you?
Yeah. So this year's kind of tricky because my son comes here in 8 weeks. So once he gets here, obviously I want to be a father for a bit. So we're writing a ton of music now. We're getting busy with songwriting and trying to get stuff prepared to maybe put an EP out at the end of the year, hopefully, but it's probably going to be next year. We're coming up to Michigan, April 12th to Petoskey. It's hard to say that name.
Yep.
Petoskey at Odawa Casino. The show starts at 9:00. So hopefully whoever's listening comes out there and comes and checks it out. If you come see me, I'll shake your hand. I got some guitar picks I'll give you that have my name on it and all this stuff. So it's just a cool little keepsake.
Nice.
But
I've got a nice collection of guitar picks. I like guitar picks.
Awesome. Well, I'll hook y'all up. But I've played in Chicago. I've played down in Hinesboro, Illinois. I kind of did this Illinois little trail with a couple people I met offline and just went and played with them. Got some stuff in Tuscaloosa later this year, down in kind of like the Alabama town, but I'm a Tennessee fan, so it's kind of tricky to go over there, but
right.
Take whatever gigs we can get sometimes.
There you go.
Yeah, this is my first at Odawa. This is my first full band show as a band, not just acoustic and, another guitar player. This is like the real deal. And this is the Jake Slay band that I'm telling you, we're going to rock the wheels off this place.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
is that a band full of guys down in Tennessee then?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm telling you, and you guys ought to look into it too. I know you guys focus on artists, but I like getting a musician to come on and talk. Like my guitarist, Jake Flaw, man, he tours with big names all the time. A lot of up and comers that are about to crest into stardom kind of stuff. And that dude's busy every weekend. He's doing all kinds of stuff. Really, he's got some cool stories. And man, this guy can play. The whole band can play. Really, I'm just bragging about Jake, but I forgot where I was going with that. Brain fart.
That's all right.
But yeah, no,
we get those all the time.
Yeah. So full band, and it's going to be a really good time. And this band, they're all from Nashville. They're full-time musicians, and we hired them to come up there and kind of just asked if you want to be part of Jake Slay and the Rise. So they'll play for me at all my shows. And I'm kind of just trying to make it a group and just take care of everybody. They take care of me. And these guys are so good. They're going to make me look like a fool. I'm telling you, these guys are great. Yeah.
Well, we've been to many shows at Odawa last year with the country concert series.
Yeah.
And like I said, we kind of travel all over going to shows. Last year, we saw 60 some artists at 70 some different shows, traveling around. So,
we were busy.
Kind of the idea behind this podcast, and our wives hate it, was that this could become a paying gig for us, to where that's all we do. Like that to me would be the dream life, where like for a lot of artists, their dream is to go and perform. My dream is to go watch as many concerts as I can. And so like if I could take this show on the road and just go to show after show after show all year long, flee the north, winter weather, and come back for the summer concerts up here, and then be in the south and west, for the winter months catching shows, that would be the dream to me.
That is the dream right there, man. Goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's and to be honest, like as many shows that we go to, obviously, we go to a lot of stadium shows and some of the bigger name artists and everything, but our bread and butter and what like Matt and I really enjoy is going to the more smaller venues, more personal venues, and seeing, up and comers such as yourself, just it's so much more raw and emotional just seeing somebody up there, playing for, playing for the people as opposed to playing for the paycheck and everything like that. It's kind of like we've talked about before, college sports, what they used to be, they used to play for the passion. So seeing, rising stars such as yourself, that's something that we really, really enjoy and really get into, as opposed to seeing all the theatricals of the bigger stadium shows and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely, man. That's the small artist shows are really fun to be at because it's just personal, I mean, you take a little more time, you're able to engage with the crowd a bit more, and I can actually hear you guys if you guys are in the crowd saying something. It's just it's a cool thing. I'm super stoked for it. We got a killer set list for you guys. We're doing 5 originals, but we're flowing in a lot of just Nashville music because people just like to dance, people like to party. So we're bringing a lot of just typical Nashville songs up with us just to fill. And, I get up there, if I sing, 15 songs that are Jake Slay songs, I'm going to be the only one singing in there. So, you got to throw some covers to get people in tune with you, and then throw an original at them, then do a couple covers and throw an original at them. And that's the way to do it right there.
So as far as venues go, where is, your top venue, like that you say, when you're laying in bed at night talking to your wife, like, God, I feel like if I played here, I've made it, or like, this is my like go-to spot. I want to get to the point where I play this venue. What would that be for you?
Well, this guy right here would say I'm playing the Square. It'd be the Madison Square Garden.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's everyone's dream, right? But like an obtainable goal over the next, couple years, I want to go back to my hometown in Cali and play at the Ventura Theater. My dad was in bands growing up, and my mom and dad actually met. My dad was playing a show, and they met after the show, and
oh, no kidding.
Here I am. So I want to go home and play that same theater he played at. I feel like it'd be kind of a sentimental type thing. But Madison Square, man, I'm a huge Kiss fan, and they ended their final show there at the Square, and it's always a big deal. So the Square would be the place to be. But anywhere, man, I just like playing music, man. If the guitars are cranked up and I can feel that drum beat, I'm cool playing anywhere. Even if it's right here in my studio, I geek out, man. We do band practice here, and it's just. It's high on life, man. You can't beat it. I love music so much, and it kind of drives my wife nuts sometimes. She's like, "Do you love music more than me?" And I'm like, "It's a different kind of love,
Right.
So,
and I think our wives feel the same way about when we
biggest supporters and biggest haters, huh?
Yep. There you go.
My wife's great. She's great.
Yeah.
What like as far as you said you've loved music for forever, and you're always writing those songs and stuff like that. Like, if who besides Kiss, is there anybody else there like in the country music scene, that you really like look up to, or you kind of aspire to be like, or
Mr. Coetzel, man, I'm a huge fan.
All right.
Oh yeah, to be honest,
too.
No,
yeah, he's got the ink too.
Yeah, I'm a crazy fanboy. My wife laughs at me all the time, and whatever. But yeah, he just put his tickets on pre-sale today, and we've already bought tickets to 3 shows. So I'm like, okay, this is not good. But yeah, Huntsville, Nashville, and Tuscaloosa. I got free tickets to Tuscaloosa, but man, Co has influenced a lot of my music, and truly, one of the reasons I wanted to do music so bad, I heard that song "Drunk Driving" by Co, and when I first saw it, I'm like, man, this guy's just got this cool sound, and there's not many people that have that Co sound. And I'm not a cover artist. I sing Jake Slay and Coetzel, and Dylan Wheeler stuff is Dylan Wheeler and I have a similar voice, so we can sing the same songs, but I can sing every Co song, but I'm not, I love Toby Keith, Rip, but I can't sing Toby Keith like I sing Coetzel. And so
okay,
I'm a huge Co fan. I love all his music, and he kind of inspires a lot of my stuff.
okay,
His new song, Damn Near Normal, I think it's Damn Near Normal. Yeah. So that song just came out a couple weeks back, and we actually went in the studio and wrote a song off of that song, started to. And then once we started recording it, it's nowhere near that song, but he inspires a lot of my music for sure.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a mashup sometime here
Dude,
soon?
I've been praying for it every night. Yeah.
Nice.
That if I did that, that would be like the look, Mom, I made it moment, and I could retire right there if I have a feature with Coetzel. Game over.
Nice.
Get him to do a duet on socials with you or something like that, and get the ball rolling.
Let's do it. Coetzel, if you're watching this, you can find me anywhere, dude. Just reach out. We'll make it happen.
Right. Yeah, check him out. Jake Slay Music.
Jake Slay Music, baby.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
So along those lines, if there was somebody, in whether it be Nashville or anywhere that you could write with, you want to sit down and just like bang out some songs with somebody, is that who your go-to would be, or is there other songwriters that you're like, no, this would be the dude?
Yeah. So Coetzel definitely is a hell of a songwriter. He writes most of his own songs, which I have a lot of respect for artists that write their own music. Everyone's got a songwriter to help them, and I've learned that. But there's a guy named Jet Harvey. He wrote "Rockin' a Hard Place" for Bailey Zimmerman.
Yep.
And I met him. He's good buddies with my producer, and I met him, and we kind of chatted a little bit. So we're trying to set up a write. Hopefully that goes through. He's a busy guy, and he's a big name here, so we don't have that happen. But I heard him play about 6 or 7 of his original songs that he's written and pitched, and I'm just like, dude, that's my song right there. I need that song, nice. But yeah, he's one I definitely want to write with. There's so many people here. I can name names for an hour, there's just so many people that just are undiscovered right now that just have music out there that just like, do you guys know, I think his name's Tucker Wentmore or something like that. He has that Whiskey Over Wine
song. That sounds familiar.
This guy's blowing up. I mean, and like overnight, it's like another Oliver Anthony situation. He posted a song and now he's already charting on iTunes and Spotify in snap of a finger. And I'm like, bro, and music's like your success really speaks off your songs. It's a great song. It's just like Morgan Wallen's song, and he's like, hey, I sing like Morgan. We got the same style. And he posted it. And like, if this guy keeps where he's going, dude, he's going to be neck and neck with Morgan in 10 years. I mean, it's crazy.
Nice.
I'm just trying to get right. Trying to get right here below Co. That's just my goal right now.
Yeah, we felt the same way. I don't know if you're familiar with Red Farron, Blake Red Farron.
Yeah.
He's got that Morgan Wallen sound, and we were talking about him not too long ago when I first came across him, and I was sent. No, I didn't send Jesse the song. I had him listen to it. And I'm like, who's this? And he's like, Morgan Wallen. I'm like, nope. This guy sounds just like him.
Yeah. And I'm all for people, if they sound like someone, send it. I know that I'm different. Right. So like people hear my stuff. Yeah. That's the first thing they always say. They go, yeah, your stuff's different. And I'm like, well, is that a good or a bad thing? And they're like, oh, we love it. I try to stand out, man. I'm kind of like a rebel at heart. Yeah. So I try to be different. I try to stand out, but not like obnoxiously, but I just try to like be just a little bit different than everybody else. And it's working so far. So we'll keep doing it.
Right. Yeah. Keep doing it. And like you said, you're an up and comer, and, I apologize that you weren't on our radar before the Adawa announced that their country concert series, because like Matt was saying that we've gone there all last year. We've seen quite a few musicians there, but when they announced that, we go on, and I started listening to you right then and there. So I'm like, I like that name. That's just a good name, Jake Slay.
Thanks, man.
So I punch into Spotify, and within 15 seconds hit the follow button, like right then and there, because I was like, this is just one of those sounds. It's you can feel it. It resonates inside you, and it is a different sound that not many people are doing that kind of sound. It kind of reminds me of kind of older, soulful country, kind of raspy a little bit, so
yeah,
definitely a good sound. So when people say that it's a different sound, that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. A lot of people down here in Nashville, and I'm not knocking them by any means, but they got just voices of angels. They sing, and I'm playing next to them at a writer's round. I'm looking at them like, dude, I got to go up after this guy. Like, you got to be kidding me. And then I sing my stuff. I'm not the best singer. I hold my own. I sing my songs well, and I have a fun time doing it. And like my energy that I bring, I'm the only guy at a writer's round that's just headbanging and just going all over the place,
Nice.
just really getting it. And every time I get off stage, someone comes up to me, it's like, I love your stuff. Like I just connect with you like on the emotional level of your music. And I'm like, well, I appreciate it, and that's what it's all about. It's just connecting with people. And so it's fun, but I don't have the voice of an angel, And so I just try to I scream a lot, I'm kind of loud and in your face kind of country. Like this set list I have, I mean, it's all, most of it's country music. And I told my band, like, just crank the amps up, baby. Let's just make it loud in your face and let's just have a good time.
Country with a little Kiss influence.
Oh yeah. Country, little Kiss influence. I can't hit those Paul Stanley notes yet. I've been trying, but I sound like a pig. So, it's like any muscle, you got to train your vocals. And I being technically a year into singing now, I've come a long way, but I've really found my voice now. And that's why I was saying I'm not a cover artist. Cause when I first started, you hit me with Bailey Zimmerman, Morgan Wallen, Coe stuff, Zach Bryan stuff. I could sing it all. Now I'm just like, okay, you sing Jake Slay, you sing Coe Wetzel, and a couple of the artists is kind of your niche. But finding your voice was something that was hard for me to come to terms with, because it's like, I can't really do these acoustics gigs anymore because I can't sit here and play Strawberry Wine, like,
yeah, right.
So,
right.
But it's all good, man. It's just growing.
Well, and I think too,
with going back to you talking about, we touched on it before about, you're just a year into it, not just singing. Like, you taught yourself how to play the guitar a year ago. Like,
yeah,
that's just pretty amazing. Watching some of your music videos and you just rocking and rolling on the acoustic. Like, you couldn't get me to in 3 years to play as good as what you're doing, if I did it every day of the week,
And it's just repetitious. I play every day. I play hours a day, every day, till my fingers lose their calluses, and then I play again and they bleed. So it's that. And it's also, I was on another interview this morning and they were asking the same question about just playing for a year. How'd you learn all this? So I've always had a guitar. I've always had one. I only really knew how to play the intro to Sweet Child of Mine. I learned it for like 6 months and I finally got it.
Nice.
And so that's all I could play. And then when I started playing music, I have videos from like when I first started that I didn't even know what a guitar tuner was. I just played, and I listen to it now and I'm like screeching. I'm like, dude, thank God. And the first show I played live was June, I think, of last year up in Chicago area. And I watched the videos back, and my guitar is so out of tune, and like I'm not singing in the right key. And I look back at it and I'm like, man, and I gained like 20 followers from that show. Like, what were they hearing, And so,
right.
If I could go back there now, goodness.
I think too, a lot like where sometimes we question ourselves. It's kind of human nature to, be your own worst critic and think like, man, that, especially like writers rounds, right? Like, man, I'm going to follow that guy. And, the guy that's coming after you as it loops back around is probably thinking the same thing. Like, how am I going to go after that? And I know from like the fan standpoint, I was just at the Bluebird last week for a show there. And May Estes was playing, and she says, yeah, there's no way I can follow that. And then she starts playing, and it's like, are you kidding me? That's how you follow that. Like, you're incredible. What are you talking about? And I think that's a human nature kind of thing, to look at somebody else and be like, wow, they're good. But there's plenty of people looking at you saying the same thing. And that's how you picked up 20 new fans, even being out of pitch and out of tune, is you're gonna pick up on far more of that than somebody else is going to, and you're gonna be like, Man, that was awful. I could do that way better now.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you're doing what people enjoy, and I know for me, like live music is where I get my stress relief from. Like Jesse's wife, it's going to the beach. I could care less about the beach. You put me where there's some live music, and I'm just gonna decompress and just like, oh, this is so great. Like it just makes
What
my
about live
my
music on the
soul
beach?
happy. I mean, I could deal with live music on the beach, but I could deal with live music on a ski hill in the middle of a snowstorm too,
Yeah.
and I hate the snow. So
Yeah.
No.
Now, if you like live music, have you ever listened to the Kiss Alive 1 album?
yes,
Dude, it's
my
so good.
brother-in-law was a big Kiss fan. So I was the youngest of five. So growing up, my siblings obviously were all older, and between me and my oldest sister, God, what is there, 14 years difference?
Oh, wow.
So they were all listening to music that was a little bit before my time, that had me listening to all kinds of different music over the years. I mean, I've gone through my parents listening to old school country, Hank Senior, and older, and up to current stuff. I went through, for me growing up in California, in the 80s, and West Coast rap taking off, and NWA, and
70s.
Too Short. Nice try, Jesse.
Yeah.
I went through that, and then the grunge rock scene took off, and you had Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam, and all those guys. So my music taste span like the biggest spectrum, and Jesse's very similar. So we're big on pretty wide
Mine was in the
variety
90s.
of music.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of songwriting too is listening to a variety of music. I can sit down with someone that's just like me, and we can write a song, and it'll be good. I could go write with someone that's I got to write in a couple of weeks with the guy who's like a pop artist, and you'd just be blown away because just you put the two minds together and you kind of mend a little bit of pop with some rock and roll, and then you get this like this cool sound. Like a lot of stuff that's
Right.
kind of taken off now. It's like you never would have
Right.
thought I'd be writing with someone who writes music for, Justin Bieber. And now I'm writing with this guy, and
Yeah.
we're making country music,
Right.
Right.
country-ish.
How do how country-ish? How with songs that you do have out right now, like where do you kind of draw your influence from? Are those kind of like, personal things that you've kind of gone through, or kind of mixing some stuff together?
Yeah, I mean, like Whiskey Helps is kind of the song I've been pushing. That's the only song that's kind of taken off. It's on its way there. That song is,
It definitely.
yeah, I hear you, man. I have to go pour a glass of Blanton's now. That song I actually freestyled on the back of my truck on a lunch break one day, and I changed a couple words.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and it was done. But the songs that are out, like Stuck in This Town. I wrote that song about a buddy. I'm not gonna say his name. I wrote about a buddy who grew up in a small town, and like he's just stuck there. And it's like, dude, spread your wings, man. And like, I feel like if you get away from your hometown, you're gonna be more successful in life. And that's just my take on it. But he won't leave, and it's just like, dude, spread your wings. You're stuck in this town. No one's getting you out. Just you got to head that white line south and just get out of there and do it. So that's where that song was inspired.
Okay.
And Falling for You is the other song that's out right now. That was my debut single. Everyone's kind of gone through stuff. My wife and I, before we got married, we broke up all the time, just typical today's relationship stuff. And,
right.
Like learning to fall back in love with somebody that, you weren't in love with anymore, yada, yada, yada. I just kind of put some feelings there and just put myself in a situation to like think like that. And I wrote that song, and it's kind of a sad song, but like the story behind it, it's a happy thing. But sad music sells, and I write sad music better than happy music. I can't write a happy song yet, but I don't know. It's just sad kind of music. It's because all I listen to is Coetzel for the most part. I write sad music, it's my influence. But I'm a happy guy. Don't get me wrong. I just write sad. My dad's a songwriter too, and was back in the day. And he said the same thing. He's like, I never could write happy music. He wrote the song for my mom and dad's wedding, their first dance. And that was the only like happy song he wrote. He just doesn't do it. So I guess that's in my genes too, is that sad, kind of make you think and maybe tear up. I don't know.
I think that's kind of how country music, kind of got its, back in the day. That's kind of how it was. It was more of a sad storytelling kind of, thing. And nowadays, you got more of the upbeat, more of a party song and stuff like that. So, just because you can't, the sad stuff is definitely, I think, resonates with actual true country fans as opposed to your, bro country that, follow everybody under the sun. And that's how some of these people blow up with some of the songs that they come out with. So, with that sad song and every song that you got out right now, very, very good lyrics to it, very good or sound to it. So, it'll come where you get that happiness to you. And like you said, probably after the little boy pops out, then, we'll be writing some happy songs then. But definitely the more of the sad songs work for you. And I think it's more true deep country that way, more of a story.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, a lot of the stuff we're writing now is fantastic. Writing songs alone, you kind of stay one-minded, and it's just what's in your head, and you can only think of so much. But when you take I'm trying not to give any song ideas away so no one steals them. But if you just take, you just take
right.
like a phrase like whiskey helps, right? Like to me, it could be, just whiskey helps me feel better. And then someone's like, well, hey, maybe whiskey like helps you get through a dark time. And then you're like, oh, but what about if like the whiskey helped me get through that dark time, but then when I was sobered up, everything just got worse. Then you just piggyback back and forth. And it's like, you come up with the hit song in 15 minutes, just having a conversation like we're doing now, and
right.
I don't know, maybe there's a song that just has the hook, y'all need music, like your podcast opener song,
There you go.
I tell you what, that's always kind of been like something in the back of my mind where, and I don't know that anyone would ever go along with it, but I've always thought like, man, it'd be so cool to go to like a writer's retreat and just sit there and observe and like, kind of document it like for the fans, right? Because I love that side of things. I love hearing how songs came to be, whether it be a goofy story or whether it was something really deep or whatever. I want to know and feel what that song was intended to feel, and then compare it to how I actually feel like when I hear it, because that can wildly be different.
Yeah.
So maybe one day, we'll get back with you and you'll say, hey, you guys come record your podcast at this writers round I'm doing with these guys I'm bringing up with me.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
There you go.
I know a lot of rounds here in town that would be open to that all day long. And you said writers retreat. That's kind of one of the things we're doing now is going out of town to these retreats with a couple songwriters, and we're writing music, writing music for me. And then if the song just doesn't really fit my vibe of what I'm pursuing, we'll pitch it to another artist. But y'all let me know next time you're down here, and I'm gonna get y'all to come up with me to this publishing group we're working with in Bowling Green, and y'all can come document and hang out and just see how the songs come together. And great songwriters, great studio, guest house. I mean, it's a really cool vibe over there. So maybe something's in the works, and we can get y'all a little behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So back to your music. I'm going to throw a little something at you. This is something that we do that I didn't mention previously, is we like to kind of throw you off base a little bit. So we've kind of talked about it already, of your music kind of being a little bit of an older sound, but had somebody tell me that the best way they could describe you would be a mix of new country and old. And in talking to them, I thought, how about you tell us a little bit about Crossroads Ranch?
Crossroads Ranch, holy smokes! You talked to Josh Gouen?
we don't name drop on who we talk to, but
man, oh man, y'all gonna make me tear up. That was one of my mentors when I first moved here. Man, that place has a dear place in my heart. Unfortunately, I don't live close to where that is anymore, but man, y'all caught me off guard with that one. Oh man, a lot of good memories there. I learned a lot about myself. And I tell you what, I've had some of the best conversations of my life on that ranch. Some real come to Jesus moments about who we are as people and what our duties are here on this earth to serve. And like, it's just crazy. But yeah, Crossroads Ranch, man, I learned so much from there. I rode my first bucking horse over there.
Nice.
I was his ranch hand for a while, probably 3 to 4 years. I was his ranch hand. We took care of everything. He had a plethora of horses. I mean, he had over 20 head of horses at a time, and kept us busy. And man, I worked so much over there. I'd get off work. I used to build cases for musicians when I first moved here. And then I'd get off work and I'd go stay over there till 9, 10 o'clock at night some nights, and some nights, weekends, everything. And man, my wife was just like, honey, I need you home. You know, you're gone so much. And I just love horses, man. It used to be such a passion of mine until I got hurt. And like, I have so many hours spent over there. I haven't thought about Crossroads in a minute, but appreciate you bringing that up. That just touched my heart a little bit. I teared up. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So that's one thing we like to do is we like to, reach out to somebody that, knows the person and, ask a couple questions that we can come at them with that they aren't necessarily expecting, that we don't tell them about ahead of time.
Yeah.
We just feel that real,
get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah. That realness of it.
Right.
And it resonates obviously with us and clearly with you and, with our listeners too, or people that are going to be watching on YouTube or whatever, to just feel more connected, like they're here with us and like getting to hear, stories that, they're not going to hear that at a show. They're not going to know about that at a show or something like that. And I'm a big believer in my love for music and artists is, when I feel some kind of connection to that person, it makes me connect to that music even more. And,
absolutely.
So that's something that we like to share with our listeners too, so they can come back and it's not something that other people are really doing. Right. And just like music, you kind of have to like pave your own way and do something that's not necessarily the normal podcast thing or interview thing. And so that's one of ours is kind of throwing a sneak attack in, if you will.
Dude, I love that, man. I love that. I need to go see
I
them.
I call it the blind side that Matt likes to do to people. So
yeah, dude, I love that, man. Yeah, I won't say the name again, but he played guitar and bass too, and we'd sit out there. I'm a huge old country guy. I don't listen. I mean, I listen to George Strait, Alan Jackson. That's old to me, but I listen to like old stuff. I mean, like old like cattle songs, like Coyotes by Dave Stamey, Don Edwards. I mean, the guy that owns Crossroads Ranch, we used to just sit out there on the back porch and he'd just play guitar and we'd sing Coyotes and just like have a good time. And I love yodeling. Like, it's funny. People don't believe me, but like yodeling is one of my passions, dude. When you put on yodeling music, I will just giddy up and go.
So we're gonna do a collab with Jewel one of these days, dude. Then one of the Killshires,
dude. This is okay. You guys want a story? I was if you all know Red Door down in Midtown, Nashville by Dogwood and Kung Fu. So I'm there one night with a couple buddies. I'm with my buddy Joey Beretti and a couple other people, and he's with this girl. And I saw her on TikTok. She went viral for like this, doing the Lovesick Blues yodel, like and I was like, holy smokes, I know that person. She did that yodeling thing. And unfortunately, I don't yodel as well as I used to. But I walked up and I'm like, you're the yodel chick. And she's like, yeah. Dude, we're in the middle of Red Door. Like, everyone's just drunk and just having a good time. And then we're just yodeling at the top of our lungs, doing some like blue yodel number sevens. Just like, everyone's like, what in the heck is going on over here?
Going on?
Dude, and we're just yodeling in the middle of a, Broadway type bar or Midtown bar. And like, yeah, I love yodeling, man. It's super fun. I'll crank the tunes up in the truck and roll the windows down, and you'll pull up next to someone at a light, and you just hear this guy just, and then you just look. They look at you. They're like, "What in the world?" And I'm just rocking out.
Is he yodeling?
Yeah, absolutely. Yodeling's good for the soul. I'll say that.
I'll throw you for another little loop real
back
quick.
In SoCal or
not really. I didn't. Crossroads Ranch kind of introduced me to the yodeling stuff. Yeah, because he's real Western, and he introduced me to a lot of the yodel stuff. But like when I was in Cali and I started getting into country music, it was like I was like George Strait all the way. I just thought he was the coolest guy ever.
Yeah.
You know, I think everybody thinks George.
Still
yeah,
is.
absolutely.
Yeah, he's the king.
He's the king.
Yep,
yeah,
king.
yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
What were you?
Well, I'll throw you for another little loop real quick, and that wasn't who we talked to.
Okay, gotcha.
So now that'll leave your brain like, dang, who did they talk to? So
yeah, you have to tell me off air.
At any rate, so you know, we're gonna have to get wrapping up soon, so we don't steal your whole night away. I don't want your wife to hate us when she's never even met us yet.
Yeah,
right.
Before we get going, I just wanted to kind of get a feel from you on with the son on the way. How do you feel that's going to affect your career going forward? Do you think it's going to slow things down at all, or is it going to give you more of a drive? Like, hey, I really want to do this and make this happen, you know, for my son and wife and for our family in general.
Yeah, so it's kind of a double-edged sword. Excited. I'm not saying this in a bad way, but I know I'm a dog dad right now, and it's hard enough leaving for a weekend and dropping them off at my mom's house and going out of town. It's like I itch to get home to see my dog. So I just know when I have a son, just a mini me rolling around, it's going to be so hard. You know, when festival season kicks off next year and we, you know, possibly do a radio tour, whatever, you know, I mean, it's just like, it's going to be hard to leave for a month, 2-3 months at a time and not come back home for a bit. So that's definitely a big concern of mine. But again, you know, you gotta give it all. And I'm hoping that if I just continue going down the road I'm on and just giving it every ounce of blood I have in me, and ultimately leaving it up to God to decide what my fate is. But hopefully it has a good payoff, and, you know, my wife can stay home with the kids and raise them, and dad can go fly around the world playing music for people and live the rock star life, and then come home and just be a good father and be able to not have to work 24/7 and, you know, do 6-month tour, you know, be on the road for 6 months and then come home and spend months with my family and do a real vacation.
Right.
My mom, my mom was a single mother and she raised 2 boys in California, and California is expensive. My mom is a rock star and such a good woman. And she, you know, she worked so hard all the time just to provide for us boys. And I want to be able to pay her back. I want to pay off her house and let her retire and just, you know, live the rest of her life happy and not have to stress about nothing. Cause man, she put it on the line for us growing up. And I just want to pay everybody back and just, you know, let everybody that around me just take a deep breath and let me carry the weight for a bit, you know, until I retire. So.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great answer. Very, very cool. Yeah. Like we talked about earlier, you know, someone, you know, just on the rise right now and already thinking about everybody else, you know, besides you actually, you know, rising up, you know, you're putting everybody else first. And whether it's your mom, your wife, your upcoming child, or, you know, artists on the way up. So very cool. Speaks worlds to your character, you know, and your upbringing, you know, definitely your mom did a good job. So,
oh yeah, she's a rock star, man. Yeah. It's, you know, you don't get to take anything to the grave with you. The only thing that stays is your legacy. And I just want people to remember me as a good person that is just sometimes the most stupid guy on earth, because the stupid guys are funny. You know, I've always been the class clown. I've always just had fun and just acted a fool. Everywhere I go, people are like, man, this guy's really weird. And that's one of the other reasons I was called to be an artist, because there's no artist out there that's not weird. You know, they all have this weird thing. And it's just like, man, that guy's a goofball.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for everyone listening or watching, where's the best place for them to find you at?
Yeah, you can
I know you're on all the socials, but where do you like to direct people to?
Yeah, we just launched a website, jakeslaymusic.com. So you can go check out there, and all my stuff's linked on there. But TikTok, Instagram, it's Jake R. Slay. And you can find me on YouTube, Jake Slay, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, everything, radio stations up in Michigan. We're all over the place. If you want to find me, I'm not hard to find, and I'm not big enough to where I can still respond to comments. So if you guys like what you hear, let me know. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, so everybody
Absolutely.
make sure
Absolutely.
you're giving them a follow on all the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Watch those videos. Watch them from start to finish. Don't dip out part of the way through. If you get busy, go back to it and finish it. That's a big thing with a lot of these platforms is seeing them through to the end. And if you're
Right.
in Michigan at all, obviously, you're gonna want to check them out at Odawa Casino on
Absolutely.
Friday night, the 12th, right? Is it the
12th of
12th?
April.
12th,
Yep.
I'm getting my dates mixed
Yeah.
up because we got like a
Next
3-day
Friday.
concert stretch.
Yep.
So
Next Friday.
that'll be this Friday when this airs. So
Okay,
it'll be
gotcha.
this Friday when this airs. So
Yep. Yep.
April 12th, Odawa Casino, Big Country 102.9 will be there. And they're very reasonable shows to attend.
Let's pack this place out.
Yeah, I
let's
think
pack
I think
it
the
for 'em.
tickets are $10.
Yep,
The doors
$10.
doors open at 8. Show starts at 9. I'm telling you, some of the best band members you're ever going to hear are going to be playing the show. We're going to rock the socks off. We're going to have a good time. If you're front row, I'm going to be throwing picks at you all night. So get your catching mitts on and
Oh yeah.
yeah, rock out and come say hi to me afterwards. I'd love to shake some hands, meet everybody. And if you want an autograph for some reason, I'll sign something for you, but just have a good time.
Absolutely.
And yeah, absolutely. I can't thank you guys enough for having me on.
If you want to have a drink beforehand, we'd be happy to meet you because I hear the whiskey helps.
Yeah.
Whiskey definitely helps.
I try to have a sip of whiskey before I sing because it helps my vocal. But I can't get drunk before we go on stage. You don't want to see that. You do not want to see that.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. We definitely appreciate having you.
it.
You're gonna enjoy watching the career blossom. And for all the fans out there,
keep an eye out for Jake Slay, guys.
Yeah.
He's definitely going places, that's for sure.
I appreciate
we'll
that.
Catch you next time.
Sounds good. See y'all. Thank you.
All right.
Y'all Need Music podcast.